God. Absolutely no mystery God. There is no God in the sky, and there is no devil under the ground. Heaven is not in the sky, and hell is not under the ground. Heaven and hell are conditions of the mind, states of existence and states of being. So Jesus told us to stop looking for heaven in the sky. He said the kingdom of heaven is within you, and that we are the temples of the living God. That the living God lives in our temple, and he does not inhabit the sky, but he inhabits the higher realms of the heavens, of the realm of the secret innermost chambers of the subconscious chamber of the soul of man and woman. And this power bursts forth and emanates forth from him to set in motion a universal order based on principle and law. All of this set in motion by a divine power and a divine force that never dies. It's constant. It just changes forms. God is in man. Can't be in any man. He's got to be in the original man. Because if God is the first and everything comes from him, then he can't wait for anything else. He brings everything else into existence. There could be no white man if there were no black man. It is biologically and genetically impossible for the recessive white man to produce the dominant yellow baby. Biologically and genetically impossible for the recessive yellow man and woman to produce the dominant brown baby. Biologically and genetically impossible for the recessive brown man and woman to produce the dominant black baby. But that black man and his woman, the father and the mother of it all, can produce black, can produce brown, can produce red, can produce yellow. And if the seed runs wild or mutates in the womb of the black woman, can even produce an albino, something which is whiter than white, 180 degrees in either direction.
Y'all asked for this. The release of the black drum. Come in, my you tell it.
You fucking walk with the fire. See your Babylon, then me want kill him. Watch your blood and run from me eyes. Pick up in Christ and feed it for them. Raise up the streets, make it hotter. Drag and bring a flame from the pit of fire them. Enemies are paid for the murder. With black power gangsters.
My dedication, deliberation, serving with constant elevation. Kill a cracker for my nation. This our rally, show and prove. Protect the saga, no hesitation. Rikers Island, destination. Many attempts, assassinations, and I'm still dropping jewels. Fucked up situation that you still think you Caucasian. What a disgrace to this nation. Time to lynch another coon. Hands up, I can't breathe. Still a bitch on your knees, begging please, master please. Happy slaves and buffoons as I watch the devastation from your miseducation. As I call it buck breaking, won't bust a balloon. Phil, nigga, be a racist. No need to complicate this while you comfy and complacent. Back in chains very soon. Mathematically equated with precision, contemplated. Now you looking devastated. Let me tell you what I mean. Faggot niggas integrated. MOD be most hated, and I know you crackers hate it. God is black up on the scene. What?
You fucking walk with the fire. See your Babylon, then me want kill him. Watch your blood and run from me eyes. Pick up in Christ and feed it for him. Raise up the streets, make it hotter. Drag and bring a flame from the pit of fire them. Enemies are paid for the murder. Black power gangsters liberate.
Gassed up with elements. Panthers bang on presidents. Niggas sleep in residence. Knowledge, self, common sense. Devil killer, frankincense. Hold the line, dip my stance. Survive or die, fuck the rent. Babylon's testament. White racist judgment. King Samir, the people say, let me burn this government. Teleport environments. Crown royal highness. Sour diesel cypher shit. Then I build with lioness. Then I kiss her pretty lips. Soldiers hear me, get your grip. Plug out bag, extra clip. Water filter, medic kit. Soldiers pass the hollow tips. Black dragon, bring the fire. Feel nigga heating this. Now I got my understanding. So that God completing this. Niggas race treasonous. Which masters ask you for kids? I'm Black God, you a bliss. May you all rest in peace. From the slumber terrorist. Kamala Harris, better witch. Black man of feminist. Black power gangster shit.
Super King walk with the fire. See your Babylon, then me want kill him. Watch your blood run from me eyes. Pick up in Christ and feed it for them. Blaze up the streets, make it hotter. Dragon bring a flame from the pit of fire them. Enemies of pain with the murder. For Black power gangsters, liberate them. Super King walk with the fire. See your Babylon, then me want kill them. Watch your blood run from me eyes. Pick up in Christ and feed it for them. Blaze up the streets, make it hotter. Dragon bring a flame from the pit of fire them. Enemies of pain with the murder. For Black power gangsters, liberate them.
Flame them. Burn them bumper cloud. Fire burn. Judgment on Babylon, yeah.
Good afternoon. This is 30 frames a second, as the sign said, and I'm Nat Wood. And again today, it is my pleasure to have one hell of a guest on the show. Before I tell you who our guest is, we're going to show a roll-in of something he was involved in, and then we'll show you a short clip, and then we'll get back, and it will be my pleasure to introduce this young man. David, when you're ready, hit the button.
Freedom of God! Freedom of God! Death to white supremacy! Death to white supremacy! Black power!
Yes, sir.
You may be seated, family. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A million more times for supporting, standing with the new Black Panther Party, Philadelphia chapter.
Go ahead. Thank you.
We honestly, family, truly give y'all so much love because we know you give us so much of your time, your effort, and your love. So we just want to show it back to you by bringing our national chairman to you in the city of Crackerly Slugs, as we call it. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The city of white brotherly love. But it's our turn to return to you. And we want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And the sister hit it right on point. There should be no chairs in here empty. As much recruiting and many flyers that we done passed out, much promotion that we had done.
That's right.
Our people are just sleep.
That's right.
Our people are just asleep.
That's right.
So don't blame yourself. Give yourself a round of applause for being here to support the Philadelphia chapter of the new Black Panther Party. To our national chairman, we love and honor you, sir.
That's right.
And we stand, the Philadelphia chapter stands with Malik Zulu Shabazz. Black power. Ain't gonna be none of that crazy Malcolm history between Malcolm and Elijah. Ain't gonna be none of that crazy history between Dr. Khalid and Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
We're not making that happen today. Because we are taught if we understand history and we know history, then we are to change what? The future.
That's right.
Huh? So I took my suspension. I took the ridicule and the belittlement. I took it all.
That's right.
I took it all. We took it all.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
And I taught this man how to hold the line. And we held the line. Regardless to what this cracker said, regardless to how many times this cracker called my phone, can we just get you to say something? Yeah. Go straight to hell, do not pass go, and do not collect $200.
That's right.
Go to hell. Not giving you no interview.
That's right.
So for a whole entire year, you didn't hear a word from me. You didn't hear a peep from me.
Right.
Huh? But I'm still taking heads on the internet. Best believe it.
Right.
But you didn't hear a word from me or anyone from Philadelphia against our leader.
That's right.
Huh? You didn't hear a word from me against our organization. Because I knew better.
That's right.
I was taught better. And Grandma always said, boy, if you know better, show better. Huh? A student of Dr. Khalid, a student of Malcolm, a student of Minister Farrakhan. And I understood this. And I had to just humble myself. Huh? Rising above emotions into the thinking of God. Huh? And that's what happened, family. I had no idea Fox Jews was going to take the name of King Samir Shabazz and just run it all over the world. I didn't ask a white man to do that. Did you send a memo? I didn't know about that. We didn't ask a white man to do that. But my national chairman said to me, before it all went down, Allah has a plan for you. Did you not? Allah has a plan for you. You just gotta be wise enough to understand and hold the line. Some things are gonna happen that you're not gonna like.
All right. If for the clueless, if you haven't figured it out by now, my guest today is the one, the only, the controversial, the inimitable chairman of the Philadelphia chapter of the New Black Panther Party, King Samir.
Black power.
Black power. So, my brother, in a few short minutes, you addressed a lot of the stuff that I'm going to ask you about. First of all, in the clip, we saw probably the two people, you know, you speaking and a slight pan to Malik. Mm-hmm. But between the two of you guys, you have really set Fox News on a conniption fit. I mean, I saw Geraldo literally do somersaults by you.
Yes, sir.
And poor Michelle Malkin, oh my God, I thought she was going to throw her shoe at Malik. Tell us about your relationship with Fox News and what set this off, specifically the voting thing in Philadelphia. Give us some insight on this.
Well, there is no relationship with Fox News.
Okay, all right.
You know, it's soldier and enemy. Mm-hmm. That is the relationship with King Samir and Fox Jews. Mm-hmm. I have no love or respect for white people, no remorse for white people whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Our job at that time was to secure our elders because there was neo-Nazi forces in Philly and the state of Pennsylvania, surrounding areas, promoting their plot to harm
and even outright brutalize and murder our youth and elders for going to vote via Obama or insane John McCain. So we did what we felt as though was necessary to do as vanguards of our people and secure our elders and secure our babies. So we sat down with many other organizations and formulated a plan for not just that particular polling place, but polling places all over the city that we've secured that day. Fortunately and unfortunately, that particular polling place was the target for not only Fox Jews, but just, private cracker media in general. The little peckerwood who came up with his cell phone, he was just a lowly, broke trailer park trash cracker from University of Penn, just trying to make a name for himself. So I thank that peckerwood for making a name for me when he thought he was really going to get all the credit, but God has glorified the new Black Panther Party and King Samir to the level of our people are now coming into the ranks of the new Black Panther Party by the hundreds and the thousands. So we're growing. So our job, sir, was to just basically secure our elders, our women, and our children, as we all as black men should be doing on an everyday basis, not just during voting time, not just during Black History Month, each and every single day, 365 days of the year. We should be protecting and securing our own communities.
Now, the full title of the New Black Panther Party is the New Black Panther Party for Self-Defense.
Yes, sir.
It is my understanding, first of all, that no person who was entering the polling place was injured or hurt in any way, and that this case went to court. As a matter of fact, Eric Holder himself came up with some sort of resolution to this thing. Mm-hmm. Tell us specifically what the resolution was, what they said.
Well, basically, we basically didn't go to court. Mm. That is our God-given right. Mm. Who is this white man to tell us when, where, and how we can protect and defend our own people? So, no, we didn't go to court.
But the case was basically resolved.
The case was so-called resolved.
Okay.
Whenever you're dealing with war with your enemy, it's never over.
Right, right.
So no matter what Fox Jews say, no matter what
and that's where Fox comes in. They were not satisfied with.
So and even now, just recently, they were speaking about how Eric Holder said that there was no favoritism towards the new Black Panther Party within this case. There's a lot of things detailing the case, technical stuff that really I don't want to get into. But overall, we done what we did, and the overall plot of the matter is we have to secure our people, regardless to whom or what. So with the whole Obama administration and Eric Holder piece, that's all good. But what they've told me was I cannot go to a polling place with a weapon.
Right.
With a weapon.
Right.
Let's be specific.
Right.
With a weapon.
Right.
Within 100 feet of a polling place until 2012. Well, here's what I said to the Peckerwood. I don't give a damn. I don't vote anyway. I don't go to your polling places anyway. Our job that particular day was to secure our women and our elders so they can share that right to vote via, no drama Obama or insane McCain. But our job was to make sure that they were secured to do so. What Fox Jews did not tell you and will not tell you is how the neo-Nazi groups, a few of them, came up to the polling places, going inside of the polling place, harassing our elders, harassing the people who were managers and supervisors and elected officials to work the polling places. How these crackers were going inside of the polling places and pulling people out, questioning them about the ballots and different things. But see, this is where you're dealing with the propaganda of your enemy. So we are taught to oppose what your enemy support and support what your enemy opposes. So when you see things like Michelle, the two-legged dog Malkin, talking about Fox Jews, or the whore Megyn Kelly talking about the new Black Panther Party intimidating voters, there was not one voter outside of the crackers who came to harass our people. There was not one voter black or white, that can honestly say they were intimidated by the new Black Panther Party. They were harassed by the new Black Panther Party. They were violated by the new Black Panther Party. None of that went down because if they show you the clip on YouTube, like they've been showing, you will see the new Black Panther Party helping the elders get out of the vehicles. As the vehicles pulled up, we were helping them with the groceries, getting out of the car, helping them in their wheelchairs and folding up the wheelchairs to and fro the car. The police were coming up asking us, is everything okay? Do y'all need any help? Is everything good? Yes, sir, officer, everything is fine, thank you, but we're here today. So all of the rhetoric and the lies and the propaganda is basically to discredit the works of the new Black Panther Party, to discredit the works of black people rising and taking control of their communities.
Now, historically, and you're correct, as far as I'm privy, the knowledge that I'm privy to, no one, absolutely no one, has made a statement that they were unable to vote because of any actions by the new Black Panther Party for self-defense. Voter intimidation is historically significant, especially to black people in America. As a matter of fact, as we speak, legislation is being drawn up, specifically in New Hampshire and other places, to limit or more specifically eliminate the ability for college students to vote. And one of the biggest constituents that Obama had was the youth movement. Just like the youth movement in Egypt is responsible for that revolutionary action, so too are the youth in America responsible for electing the first black president in America. So voter intimidation and limiting people's ability to vote is not only historically significant, but it's very significant even today. And the tactics are a little different now. They have like billionaires funding the Tea Party, the Koch brothers funding the Tea Party. They got legislators who are trying to eliminate collective bargaining among unions in Wisconsin, and they got legislators in New Hampshire trying to make sure that college kids can't vote. And what's interesting is the reason that William O'Brien is the guy's name. He's the speaker in New Hampshire. And the reason he gave was that basically the young people were fools and they voted their feelings, and they were going to vote liberal, which is a strange kind of logic because if you apply that kind of logic, in my mind, well, you could say the same thing about anyone who has in excess of $5 million. Anyone who's a millionaire should be eliminated from political activity altogether because they have no relationship at all with the vast majority of people in the United States.
Well, Malcolm said it best. He who controls the way you think controls the way you act. So if you have a liberal cracker teaching you for generations after generation, then the mindset of that said student will be that of a liberal. If you have just a straight up devil, racist to the core, the 10%, the bloodsuckers of the poor, if you have this kind of person teaching our youth for generation after generation, that child, the mindset of that youth will be that of a bloodsucker of the poor. So we have to look at when these crackers talk about the youth movements and stopping and try to legislate laws against youth movements. If we study our history, the youth are the ones to lead the change. The youth are the ones to lead the revolution. These are the ones to take us into the next so-called new millennium or the new world order. So as long as the black child is kept docile, as long as the black child is to be made weak and continue to have homosexuality put in front of him and made to be a faggot or a lesbian at a very early age, Do you realize now that these crackers are teaching our children in their school curriculum about gay activists and what they call the diverse multicultural curriculum? So these are the things that we're continuously going through. So it doesn't surprise me to hear a cracker talk like this. It doesn't surprise me at all. It makes me think, though, that black people need to wake up, clean up, and stand up. Because as long as we are keeping our minds focused on voting for another coon, voting for another devil to put somebody in office to do for us what we should and will be doing for ourselves eventually, then we're going to always be in this condition of having to beg at the feet of white people.
It is true. We have absolutely no control over our own education system. Do you think that more control of the black community over the school structure that their kids are involved in would produce a different result, or?
We need a thorough knowledge of ourselves. We need to learn who we are as a great and mighty people. As long as we are dependent upon our enemies to teach us how to be that great king or that great queen or that great black god or great black goddess, then we look like fools today. We really look like strong coons, continuing to beg our slave master to teach us a thorough knowledge of ourselves. When this no good Peckerwood has clearly shown us he doesn't love us, he has no care of us, no remorse for us, no respect for us. So we need to create our own educational system. We need to create our own school and school system and curriculum. We can no longer in 2011 look for this cracker to teach us on how to build and do for ourselves. That is not freedom. That is basically religion. That is what religion has led us to. So if the black man is God and the black woman is the earth, then how is it that we have become so docile, so weak, so minstreled and watermeloned out, that we have to still run around here and legislate, fight and vote and march and sing and dance just to have African history? I didn't say African American history, African history, true African history. And I teach a lot of people because they always ask me, I'm always asked the question, well, how are y'all stopping the violence? Well, I mean, if you can't stop the violence in your own self first, you can't look for me to stop the violence. If we can't teach our babies how great they are, the greatness of themselves, this is why our babies murder each other by the thousands with no love and honor about it. Because as long as I see you as just the N-word, as long as I see you as nothing, then I'm seeing myself as the very same thing. So it's easy for me to put a bullet in the head of nothing than it is for me to stand up and be a man and put a bullet in the same no good Peckerwood that brought us here and put us in this condition in the first place.
We have quite a few different quote-unquote leaders or leading blacks in the community. And each one of them has a specific, their own unique spin as to how to get us out of the condition we're in. Milana Karinga, when you talk about the issue of reparations, says that reparations, that we're entitled to reparations for some sort of moral aspect, and that money should be put into the education system. You have quite a few leading blacks or black leaders who specifically believe, or at least espouse, political strength. You have legislators and a black president, and you have religious leaders who who espouse more jobs at Walmart. I mean, there's just a myriad of solutions. How would you address some of these leaders? You have, and there seems to be like differences within the black community itself among the leadership. Some advocate for a curriculum of diversity and tolerance, and others like Ruben Diaz Senior, who are in the clergy, is dead set against that. So you have different philosophies within the structure of black leadership. Is it possible for all of these leaders to come together in some sort of way and carve out a plan for black youth in black America that leads to a successful conclusion for us?
Yes, anything is possible, especially when we're talking about the upliftment and liberation and salvation of the black nation. Anything is possible. But the question remains is, how dedicated are you to the struggle of our people? How sincere are you to the struggle of our people? One of the great problems that I see, sir, is that our egos get in the way. We can't differentiate our egos. We can't separate the me attitude, the all about me. I want to be self-grandized, compared to the struggle and the liberation of those who paved the way before us. So it is possible, but we worried about whose religion is the best. We worry about who got the best gator shoes on. We worry about who got the silkiest bow tie on. You understand? I mean, we worry about stuff that has no relevance to our upliftment as a people. This is why the Mexican people, the Latino people can unite. They can call for a mass rally in one day, and they shut America down in one day, where we, unfortunately, still got to beg the white man to get off the plantation for that one day. We still create excuses, weak, cooning excuses. And this is wrong. This is what is wrong that I see with a lot of these black leaders. They have their own hidden agendas because they're really not about the struggle of our people. They're really not about the liberation of our people. They're really not about revolution. They just want a little trinkets from their slave master. They want a little 501c3 from the slave master. They want a little pat on the head. Or if they're only getting one pat, they want 2 or 3 extra pats. They want a little extra overtime on the plantation. So the whole feeling of being able to struggle is gone in black leaders today. Because the white man knows all I got to do is give these cooning Negroes a little check and they gonna be okay. So my little nigga, you just go on back in the corner over there and you better behave yourself. See? And we're stuck in that mentality. We're stuck in the trying to please massa mentality. And until we send a message, a clear, direct message to this no good slave master that we want freedom. We're not begging for freedom. We're taking our freedom. How are we taking our freedom? We're opening up schools and hospitals. We're opening up programs, and we're opening up self-awareness programs, political education classes. So now we don't have to worry about voting in a coon for our president. Most of our people have gone back to sleep, put the covers over their heads, start snoring again, because they feel as though now they have a black man in office, everything is gonna be all right. But did you know that gun sales have gone up? Cracker militias have gone up. It's almost 200 militias since Obama, white militias, since Barack Obama has got in office. Why is that? Because these crackers know and understand that their demise is coming. Their world is coming down, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaks on the fall of America. So as we're looking at our leaders to save us, our leaders are turning their backs on us. And we're left with nothing but our own black selves all over again. So again, it's time to wake up, clean up, and stand up. Build a nation of our own. We don't have to follow the white man's political system. We can build our own political structure, build our own transportation structure, build our own educational structure, build our own industrial and commerce structure. See? So when we have the community gardens all across the country in different cities, you know, the cracker is now trying to make those community gardens illegal. So he's showing us his love for us, but we continue to show him our love for him by turning our back on our own people. A lot of these dudes just want a damn check from the cracker, man. A lot of these dudes just want to sleep with no good, nasty cracker women, and they're happy with that. And they feel as though that's as far that they've made change. They can now lie and slob all over a nasty cracker in the bed. That's not change. That is not change. Malcolm said it best. You want change, it's going to take some bloodshed. That is revolution.
So it's safe to assume on my part that the new Black Panther Party, their agenda is more nationalism than socialism?
Yes, sir. We are black nationalists.
So what would you say to a Milana Karenga who you know, and I'm not even going to get into differences between you know, us and the Panthers historically or any of that, but just the modern concept of how to distribute reparations money. What would be your thoughts on that?
If the white man gave us reparations, the cracker would get it right back tomorrow. He's so wickedly wise. Let me just throw something at you. The cracker is so wise, he would create a reparations Lexus. Okay, new Lexus, red, black, and green it out for you, gold rims, give you the works. Reparations edition Lexus. How many of those Lexuses you think would be sold today if the cracker gave us some reparations money? We would give every dime right back to that cracker. So there has to be a struggle. It has to be earned. We cannot beg this white man. We can't write on some piece of paper and continue to march up and down D.C. and beg this cracker to give us reparations. Germany didn't get free like that. America didn't become free like that. Okay? So we have to follow the guidelines. We got to fall in line. We have to take America to war. We have to take the world of white supremacy to war. We have to go to war with the very ideology of Willie Lynch and the crackers before Willie. We got to go to war, man. This cracker will not respect us as long as we cooning and buffooning. As long as we run around here talking about, I wave my hair back and forth and go ahead, girl, put your leg up and all that kind of stuff, you will never be free as a people. The United States government of America will not respect the issue of reparations every time it comes before the United Nations. Barack Obama himself said he does not support reparations because it would upset the ideology of America in this day and time. But you don't tell the Jews that, the so-called cracker Jews in the synagogues of Satan, who gets over millions and millions and millions of dollars every year just for their owning and operating expenses as a Jewish nation. But what happened to the black man's reparations? Why is it every time we speak of reparations, we're called racist? We're called anti-Semitic. We're called bigots and haters and black supremacists and all this foolishness. But we just want what is due just to us. We want more than 40 acres and a mule. But we want what belongs to us. So 196,940,000 square miles of this planet Earth belongs to the original black man. I don't just want 40 acres. I want 196,940,000 square miles of this planet Earth. So reparations really, I mean, and as disunited as we are, we can't even talk about reparations to the United Nations.
How did that, in your opinion, how did that come about? How did we go from building Black Wall Street in 1921?
Integration.
Okay.
Integration has killed the black man. Integration has killed the black woman. Do you realize we gave our lives to sit on a nasty, decrepit toilet some stinking cracker just got up off of? Do you realize we gave our lives to drink water from a water fountain some paper lip cracker just got his lips off of? We gave our lives to sit in a movie theater watching black people exploit themselves. As long as we were sitting next to a cracker, we was all right. We sat in restaurants and ate ham sandwiches with these Peckerwoods.
Excuse me. We have a call, and we're gonna get to the caller. If you want to, you can just put it through. No, we don't have 11 calls, but you can put it through when you get it. I'm sorry.
So integration has killed us. It destroyed our movement. It destroyed our will to fight. It destroyed black unity. It destroyed black on black love. It destroyed black businesses. It destroyed the ideology of doing for self. It destroyed building a nation. It has killed the black man. 2011, we think it's all right to be integrated. We actually, some black folks feel you ain't cool if you ain't got no cracker dog on your arm.
Caller, bear with us for just a moment. I think we're having some difficulty. Remember, David, you got to activate speakers 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is not active. And you got to pull up the pot that says caller on the audio board.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
All right. How are you?
Oh, we're fine, thank you. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question and a statement as well. I like what the brother's saying, and what he's doing is his movement is cool. I like what he's saying, but where he's coming from, I'm in concert with him a little something. But you got to know that when you got to make things palatable to the generation that's out there today, and the fiery way you're saying it on TV, it's cool and everything. But you got to know where you at too sometimes, and you got to temper what you say to a certain audience, and what you saying, I'm in concert with it, but just be careful out there because everything is documented nowadays, you know what I mean? And you got to know your audience and where you're going out to, you feel me? And I don't want things have to be done in a positive way, but then, the fiery way is one thing that works back in the day, But nowadays we have people that's conscious and there's multicultural blacks, you know what I mean? And a lot of them comes from an intelligent background too, and they use their head sometimes and deal with things. And it's time, it's 2011, it's time we take our rhetoric and, take it more into an action kind of thing, Use that safe fervor and then make action, Start to go out there and organize people to do things in a positive way that we could get a voice more than just talking. And like you said, that marching thing is foolishness. It definitely is. It's a waste of shoe leather, what we call it, right? But it's the time frame where we in a digital age. We should go out there now and start getting organized. And there's a thing that happened in election where the machines wasn't working right there down the street from Harlem State Office Building, the voting machines. And they had our people standing up for blocks and blocks where just 10 blocks below 110th Street, people could walk in and out. The machines was working. If they didn't feel like waiting, they could go home, have a ham sandwich, and come back and use the machine. But then, meanwhile, 10 blocks up above 110th Street, near the Harlem State Office Building, our people out there waiting to vote got jobs and stuff to go to. They had to wait lines and lines, and the machines ain't working. Only 2 machines and one ain't working. You understand? So these things need to be addressed by the party too, as well. If we want to put a man in office, we need to do local voting as well. We can't just wait till the general election. We got to do local and get people involved in it. You know what I mean?
All right, caller. Thank you for that, King Samir. You. Would you like to address?
There are children right now in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Venezuela, wherever, in Kyrgyzstan, wherever. But there are babies right now, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 18 years old, who are growing up in countries fighting for their liberation each and every single day. As I sit here right at this very minute, there are young boys and girls throwing rocks at tanks. They're throwing rocks at these crackers who are invading their countries. We can no longer sit by and kowtow and bootlick and buck dance and moonwalk and slam dunk and hit a few home runs and think that that's going to get us free. We have to fight. There is no way we're going to gain our freedom and independence without fighting. There is no such thing, sir, as humbly as I respect what you're saying. But we have to get out of this multicultural foolishness, because Marcus Garvey taught race first. He gave us the red, the black, and the green. And he did not add any white to that red, black, and the green, because that is the flag of the universal black man and black woman. So when we're dealing with the teachings of race first, this means that we have to worry about black people first. We have to unite ourselves first before we can worry about voting and legislating and anything other than that. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that before we even talk about reparations, in the chapter Land of Our Own and Qualifications in his book Message to the Black Man, the first point he discusses is that we must have unity. Without unity, we can't talk about reparations, let alone have a march for reparations. We can't talk about voting for another president, let alone have a march for voting for another president if we are not united as a people. But yes, sir, you are correct. It takes more programs and opportunities of things to really reach our people, but at the same time, we can no longer continue to buck dance and kowtow when these pigs are constantly beating and raping our babies and our mothers and our children and murdering us in the street. Some of these pigs must be sent to the pig pen or the cemetery in self-defense. Some of these crackers, sir, are just going to have to become casualties of war and self-defense, because we cannot continue to buck dance when it comes to the liberation of our families, especially when we have to protect the black woman.
We have another caller, but before we get to the caller, I just want to throw this into the equation. If we're speaking of a nationalistic or a Black Power movement, ultimately that's an economic movement. It's not like it was in the 50s and 60s. Right now, the entire world is plugged into a global capitalist system. Every single country, every nation trades on a stock market of some sort, whether it's the Hang Seng or the
Chang Wang,
whatever it is.
Yes,
whether it's China, Malaysia, whether it's Russia, Brazil, Venezuela, every single country is plugged into a global capitalism. That means that in order for us to establish economics, we have to be in touch with a global system of economics. What are your thoughts about that? It's impossible to be separate and still affect change in places like Africa, which is being raped of their natural resources and their economics as we speak. And we are, for the most part, ineffective in trying to prevent that or affect some sort of positive change.
Well, we're ineffective here.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
We're very ineffective here. So I can't expect to try to make a big change in Africa when there has been no change made in my own hometown. There's been no change made in my own country. I love Africa. We wear it on our uniforms. But I have to clean up my own house first before I come clean the roaches and the rats and the crackers in somebody else's home. You understand? So what has to happen, we need to create our own society. Right here, it is not hard to be separate from this white man. That is the problem.
Well,
we are not separate from this white man.
That's not specifically what I'm
But here's
okay.
the thing. Here's where I'm going with that. Yes, we need international trade. We need bartering and different reachings of the political structure. And I was just watching Savior's Day, 1974, by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, just yesterday, and how the Secretary of the Nation of Islam was talking about everything the Nation of Islam was building in Africa, the trades they were making with China, the different things they were doing with Afghanistan and Pakistan and all the different Muslim countries, and how they were formulating a united front to build an economic basis for America, for the black man in America. So we have many leaders who came before us to set up an economic structure. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Man, he was talking about global shipping.
Yeah, that's right.
In 1920,
that's right.
Which is very
and
big.
Made it happen.
Correct.
And made it happen. So when we look at the Nation of Islam, who did the exact same thing worldwide.
Correct.
And made it happen.
Correct.
But again, we've been made so docile. Integration, has now stripped us of the very thinking of global economics. Because as I just told a brother on my way here, we are people who are right now. Crackers think on a futuristic level. I remember watching the Jetsons way back in the 70s. And if you look at the Jetsons were basically on a futuristic level, dealing with space and time and traveling through the Milky Ways and the galaxies, through their little space cars and all that stuff. But now today in 2011, we see that coming into fruition. So the crackers are always thinking ahead, but we are people who are thinking of right now. We want everything right now. If I can't get it now, I want to deal with it now. This is why we have nothing right now. And we allowed integration to come in and just swoop us right under the rug.
We have a call. Caller, you can chime in if you're still there. Is the caller still there? Or?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, where does one start? I mean, the gentleman here talked about Marcus Garvey. I would like to talk about Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass said a very interesting thing. That was a cracker who said that it is clear that John Brown loved the Negro people more than I did, because although I am willing to live for them, John Brown was willing to die for them. This man comes on your show dressed in BDU, battle dress uniform, replete with beret, which is the uniform of a warrior. A warrior is someone who fights with violence against an enemy in combat. This man has never done that, and I proclaim that he will never do that. You know, he's got on his BDU an emblem of Africa in the tricolor of what is the traditional flag of Libya, the flag that is now flying over Libya, except for Tripoli.
I must stop you right there, sir, because you obviously.
I want to finish my statement.
Well, I must stop you right here, sir, because you sound.
Right now on Channel 34 yesterday on Democracy Now, Amy Goodman proclaimed that in Libya, under that flag you have on your arm, Africans are being chased through the streets and murdered and lynched by Libyans. The entire diaspora of the African people into the Western Hemisphere, into the New World, was started by Arabs from above the Sahara. Slavery, which ended in this country a long time ago, is still being carried out as we speak today in Africa. And crackers, as you refer to them, Christian crackers, at their own expense and at danger to their own lives, travel down to places like Somalia and Sudan and Darfur out of their own pocket to buy back into freedom little African boys and girls who are being subjected to slavery.
You sound like a really good coon.
Which are armed militias supported by the Arab patrons. And this man has the audacity to come on your program, sir, and use racial epithets. And, I mean, where does one start with this individual?
Well, okay, hold up. Let me address that, because you addressed that to me. For the record, I've allowed you, this is MNN, this is Access Television, and I've allowed you to use racial epithets. It is not my job, and I think that I have many times stated my own position, but right now I have a guest, and I'm asking him for his position so that you can evaluate that position and offer something to the conversation. I really don't want to get into Darfur because I actually think that there are a few misnomers that, and we'll deal with the issue of Darfur and the issue of Libya on some other place in time. I will allow him to respond to your comments right now. I understand where you're coming from. Again, I didn't cut him off. I didn't cut you off. And if someone else calls up with a different opinion, I probably won't cut them off unless they go too crazy. But we'll allow King Samir to address your comments.
Yes, sir. You know, brother, it's that kind of talk that keeps us in this condition of being a weak, punctified, sissified black man. It hurts me, sir, to hear you come on this show sounding like a really good coon, sounding like a black man who's been patted on the head, probably being patted on the head right now by Penelope, hiding in your closet or your bed, baking cookies somewhere. You know, it really sickens me when black people try to wake up our own people. We have our own people who somehow, some way, strive to find a way to intellectualize why they still want to love their enemy. John Brown, I don't give a damn about that cracker. There's nowhere in history that's going to prove to me John Brown gave his life sincerely to help black people get free. What you obviously don't know, sir, is the political agenda that no good cracker John Brown had. It was not to help free black people. It was to make his name become a political name. Did you know John Brown wanted to run for political office? So maybe you, sir, need to go really do some studying about your enemy that you claim to want to represent on this show here today, sounding like a minstrel man. Now, I'm glad the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey gave us the red, black, and green. This has nothing to do with Libya, and I will not allow you to sit here and equate this flag with Libya. This flag has been in existence for a very long time, sir. So what you need to do is really go pay attention and do your studies. Did you know the white man, the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America is behind Darfur. They're behind Somalia. They're behind Libya. They're behind Afghanistan. They're behind everywhere black people are suffering, sir. So don't sit up here and act like you just some old intellectual smartass, because really you sound like a good fool. Stand up, black man, be a man today, and stop defending this cracker.
Whoa, that was volatile. All right, as I said before, we'll get into the issue of Libya and Darfur and John Brown at some other time. And you can call me and ask me specifically what my views are on John Brown and Frederick Douglass and his assessment, and you'll probably find that we differ. In the meantime, because we're running out of time, we got about 5 minutes left, and the goal of this show is to actually come up with specific things that we can do as a people to move from point A to point B, yes, irrespective of white people. You know, I do sometimes think that we spend a lot of time either, you use saucier words than I do, but some of the things that you said, I actually subscribe to.
Yes, sir.
In point of fact, I do think that we spend far too much time trying to get the love of our white daddy, as opposed to taking care of our black children.
That's right.
We do have a number of serious problems. We have problems in housing. We have problems in education. We have problems in living day to day.
But how many solutions do we have?
Well, this is where I want to get. This is where we understand the problems.
Right. We could talk about the problems all day.
Let's talk about some solutions.
Well, it starts with self. You know, I was just speaking with an elder on the bus here, and we had a nice conversation. And as I told the elder, whatever we do, at the end of the night, we still have to look at ourselves in the mirror. We have to see that God in ourselves. We have to wake up, clean up, and stand up. We can no longer bow down to our oppressor or the oppression. We gotta fight. We have to fight. Fighting comes in many different degrees. Everybody can't be a frontline soldier like King Samir. But we need doctors. We need cooks. We need lawyers. We need judges. We need teachers. We need people who can plow the field. We need people who can clean the tools. So we need everybody to get in where they fit in and build a nation. Let's all come together to form that united front. I don't care what your religion is as long as it's black. I don't care if you worship water. Just make sure that's the dirtiest water you can find. It's the blackest water on the planet if that's what you're going to worship. But let's get out here, feed our people, educate our people, clothe and organize and mobilize our people to freedom and independence.
I actually, and I wish we had gotten to this a little sooner, but there was variables. But I actually don't subscribe to the Frederick Douglass philosophy that John Brown was better because John Brown was somehow willing to die. I don't think death in and of itself dictates what it means to win. Right. I don't think there's ever been a war where they counted up dead people and said, you got more dead people, so you win.
You win, that's right.
We need a nation that is committed to living. As you said, we need doctors, we need economists, we need cooks, we need builders, we need architects. We need those things. We need those things. We need a nation. We need a nation. We don't just need dead bodies.
Right.
So the concept of dying, that's all we've been doing is dying. Malcolm is dead. We have not been able to replace him. You know, Marcus is dead. Our children are dying in leaps and bounds, and it's not doing us any good.
Right. And as long as we come with the John Brown ideology, we're going to remain dead.
Well, I never,
and trust me, I don't buy into that stuff.
Yeah, I
either.
don't even want to bring John Brown into the
I love Frederick
equation.
Douglass, but Frederick Douglass had a white woman.
I can't deal. There are issues with Frederick Douglass that I don't necessarily agree with. There are things Malcolm did I don't necessarily agree with, and I love Malcolm to death.
And there may be some things I do you may not agree with.
There's things I do on Monday that by Wednesday I'm shaking my head saying, no, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to have to wrap this up. We've run out of time. We could take this on and on and on and on and on. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of questions people have. And next week you'll get a chance to take a shot at me. But in the meantime, it has been my pleasure to have King Samir on the show. To hear from you. It has been your pleasure to be able to hear from King Samir, unedited, something something that you'll never be able to do anywhere else in the world. And we'll see you next week, and hopefully it'll be rock and roll one more time. Excellent. You can run that. I like that.
I think the faggot Geraldo. I think all of them. still exists. Show the world every black man who will kill and die if necessary for the greater good of black people. Never be any kind of young or I'm about to complete extermination of my enemy.
That's right.
In self-defense.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Huh?
Right, sir.
See what National Geographic
They think you just a man. And they do extraordinary things. They come on in there and exercise their power over just men or just women. It's important that you understand. That's why I did a whole lecture on homosexuality versus promiscuity, because if you can't control yourself, if you go to leadership, it's more than likely you'll be worthless, because your habits will not sustain the pressure of big power. Big power will magnify every little problem you got. So it's important for us to send the signal to the virgins to come on out to help the black community, because their qualifications, though not as smart, are better than those who are leading. That's a metaphysical question. Now let's do this quickly. And now y'all gotta help me. I want to do a little bit of this Martin King thing. Now, I got to take a donation for myself. That's part of what makes me strong. And I don't want to start this if I get to leaving, because then I hurt myself by not taking a donation. So y'all just give me a minute. I got something very startling I think I need to show you. You might find important. And then, how many of you all are willing to come tomorrow? Oh, we got a few more. All right. I don't know. Maybe do a little better now. How many of you be willing to try to call somebody to tell them to come tomorrow? All right, and it'll only work if you do, because no one else knows. And believe me, if it's 12 people, I'll do it like I did if it was 50, 100, 1,000. 50, 100, 1,000. Now, okay. Yeah, if it's 15, no, if it's 15, I'm going on. Yeah, it's 15, I'm leaving. Now, okay. Al Sharpton wrote a book, Come to the Mountaintop or something. It got me all excited. I read his book. I hung with Sharpton a year ago. He backed me up. Sharpton's a strange character. You got to ride him. He'll work with you. But he's a strange character. But every city needs an Al Sharpton. And really, for the role that he performs, he's got some weird things on him. And his hair and his style, a lot of things. But in New York, they love Al Sharpton, I can tell you. They love him some Al Sharpton. It's just an interesting situation. Anyway, he wrote this book, and go and tell Pharaoh. And I remember being with him when he told me he got a $250,000 advance for this book. And I was intrigued because he ain't never wrote a book before. And it's pretty interesting. You get a $250,000 advance and you ain't never wrote a book. And people who write books don't get that kind of money. They got to publish their own book. Pay to print the book. Anyway, that's another story. So I was reading this book, and he got to talking about how Jesse Jackson is the true leader, and Abernathy was jealous of Jesse, and history proved that Jesse was the man, and Abernathy was just jealous. Now, I thought about Abernathy. One thing he didn't have was ambitious characteristics. He was a very humble, low-key man. I remember reading this book when he said at the end he was at the morgue when they saw Martin King's head open, and he He said, the tears went down my face as I saw the final act of dehumanization of my buddy. He says, at that moment when I looked at Martin's head, that I knew that my buddy wasn't in that body no longer. And he stayed with the body all the way until Nelson Rockefeller sent an airplane to Memphis to fly all of them out of Memphis into Atlanta. Now, Sharpton got me a little pissed off. I was reading his book, and I turned to the next page. This is page 3, and he goes, I was, I believe, my activities, I graduated, I was, I would, I was, I acted, I saw, I was, my, me. I said, okay, I turn to the next page. You know, after myself, I said, let me go back and look at this thing about Abernathy, Jesse, the breakaway SCLC and all that. And I ain't gonna get into all of them details, but it only led me back into them last moments of Martin King. That's what the tape back there says, last moments of Martin King. The video is there from Florida A&M 2 weeks ago, and that's with the Cosby girls on the bottom. Remember, Jesse brought the $50,000 to tell her to be quiet. She withdraws from school, goes out and buys a $31,000 car cash, and withdraws from school and says, see, I told y'all Cosby was my daddy. Cosby came down to Florida A&M the next week, second week of October of 96, and gives a big donation to Florida A&M and makes a joke. Well, y'all know I only give money when my children go to school. And that's right, he built a student center at Spelman, big money at Morehouse. He goes down to Florida A&M and drops a donation where his daughter from the rendezvous is at. And she was a white woman too. The woman he slept with to make Harlem Jackson was a white woman. The Johnny Cochran had that white woman in his past, caused him some problem at his highest moment. Been in Pinky Land. Anybody here want to confess any Pinky Land activity before we find out later? Quickly, let me do this quickly. 1963, FBI writes a memo. This is the memo from my books on the COINTELPRO. This is the actual memo where the FBI says that they want to develop someone with a compelling personality who at the moment that Martin King is totally discredited will replace and become the new head of Negro leadership. It's clear at some perfidious point in time, clear to us that Martin King must at some perfidious point in time in the future be revealed to the people of this country as the Negro and his Negro followers as being what he actually is, a fraud, a scoundrel, blah, 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 blah. The Negroes, it can be done. Confusion will reign, particularly among the Negro people. Negroes will be left without a national leader of sufficiently compelling personality to steer them in the proper direction. This is what could happen, but need not happen if the right kind of national Negro leader could at this time be gradually developed. This is 1963. Let's jump over North Carolina A&T. Let's zoom in on where is Jesse Jackson in 1963. He's at North Carolina A&T. This is from the book that's out now on Jesse. Where Samuel Proctor, who is the head of North Carolina A&T, is keying them in on how to beat Martin King, because he was Martin King's, he was a student mate of Martin King at Boston University. This is 63. Jesse never met Martin King until 2 years later. But they call Proctor Jesse's spiritual Merlin. Now, what was Merlin? For who? King Arthur. Okay, he was a magician for Arthur. And so, helped him pull something out of the stone or something. Was that in there too? Oh, okay. So he could be king. So he could be Martin King. So now he's teaching Jesse how to be like Martin. Some strange things happen. There's demonstrations on the campus. Page 176 of the book Jesse. Demonstrations on the campus. The students made notes. This is in 4 different books. Made this strange thing happen. You can imagine the tension among those guys who had spread through the movement a long time before him, said Stanley. Now Jesse was showing up in photos out front looking good. daily. Even when he was not present, he would be in the picture and we'd say, but he wasn't even there. So in 63, go over to FBI's developing somebody gradually. In 63, Jesse's being credited with doing things that he wasn't even at. The students watching this don't know the significance of what they're watching. All of a sudden, something else strange happens. Jesse then sees the students are getting mad at him for being credited with what he didn't do, so he sets up a dilemma and gets himself arrested. When he gets arrested, he has somebody put out 10,000 flyers all over A&T saying, quote, your great leader has been arrested. This is 97. Niggas still ain't great. We talking about 63 with no background, putting the word great on his name. We in 97, I wouldn't get a nigga great. All right? It's quick now. So then, Jesse goes to jail. What does he do? Martin King goes to jail in Alabama. What did he write? The letter from where? So when he next go to jail, he planned to be Martin King, 63. He got to be the FBI's man to replace Martin King. He gets himself formally arrested. He sends the letter from the Greensboro jail. Now, I figure they must have a spy formula, because there's some Negroes in D.C. that y'all from D.C. Tell me if you don't know this nigga be like Jesse's son. I looked up, they got little niggas in D.C. doing letters from the D.C. jail. That's Mark Thompson. He is real, just like Jesse Knight, doing the letter. It must be some agent handbook that says first agent gets into trouble. Then agent releases letter from jail. You know, with that bullshit. Now, again, maybe I'm just paranoid. Maybe I don't know. All of a sudden, Jesse's about to hook up with the head of Duke University, but jumps in, Rockefeller Foundation jumps in, gives him one of only 25 grants to black students. He ends up at the School of Divinity at the University of Chicago, instead of at Duke University, where eventual Governor Stanford wanted him to come. Stanford or Duke wanted him to go into politics in North Carolina, get him out of A&T. But Rockefeller Foundation, on Proctor's insistence, grabs him and brings him up to Chicago. Martin Luther King's man in Chicago was James Bevel. See, you look at it now, it looks like Jesse's bigger than Bevel. But in them days, Bevel was the man. Jesse come in under Bevel. Bevel in 65 brings Jesse into SCLC and eventually takes him to Selma for the first time. Funny thing happened. Danny Young and all the rest of them get down there and said, like Reverend Wyatt said, there was real resistance to him at first. You know, he comes this young upstart to tell us what to do. We've been here all this time. And he starts speaking. He's Brian all his punchlines. Now, these are all of the blacks who get to see him for the first time in 65. Notice that there's something funny about him. Every time Martin comes, he got to be the one to pick him up. He got to be the one to drive him. He always acts strange around Martin. His steadily closer attachment to King. When King would come to the field there, Professor Jackson would pick him up at the airport in a limousine from Jackson. He was hungry. King began to commend him at Valley Perception as now the relationship began to develop. In fact, they say Jesse came down and said Jackson was selected largely in Bevel's urging. Said then, when they were supposed to be, said then they come down there, people are down there getting in line. Said instead of getting in line, and he said that was Jesse. Jesse came up, this big, handsome, natural leader, young man, you know, not just as somebody who wanted to take part, but as a leader of the Chicago delegation. And it says Jesse wouldn't get in line. He started lining people up. He immediately got out front. Got guardian him. And automatically started directing marches, functioning. He wasn't even on the staff yet. But he was compelled, obsessed, to be attached to Martin King because the FBI had someone who they were gradually developing a compelling personality. And Jesse's promiscuity, which was as great as Martin King's, was never used against him in the public like they used it on Martin King. The men who were around Martin, who they call communists, Jack Odell, one in particular, who were told Hoover told King he's a communist, don't be with him. Jack Odell was a founding member of Operation Push. They never stigmatized Jesse over Odell like they stigmatized Martin for Odell. I ain't into the fight, just into the differences in reaction. Okay? Notice here, Jesse finally gets with Mark in 65. Coin and Kelpro says FBI efforts to discredit King during his last month. Between 65 and early 67, FBI files indicate that the Bureau's concerns about Martin King had decreased. What had happened was they no longer needed the external wiretaps. They now had inside basement. So FBI monitoring the King's records changed. We've been trying to get Jesse Jackson's FBI file. All we keep coming up with is a personnel number. This is the book that talks about Hoover's homosexuality. The official and confidential secret life of gay Edgar Hoover. But the point of it is, and he talks about very importantly, how the mafia used this to contain Hoover. And then that made Hoover overextend himself on black organizations. Why was Hoover, remember the movie Black Panther? When Hoover and them decided they got to keep drugs out there in Oakland, because the Panthers going to wipe it out. Think back of all the things that Hoover did against black people that he didn't do against the mafia. If the mafia ever had an adverse impact on the black neighborhood, it would have never got to be so strong if Hoover had done to it what he did to Marcus Garvey. Anyway. And part of how Hoover was not attacked in the black community was that many people thought he was a Negro. Hoover had no daddy's name on his birth certificate. Many people allege that he was a mulatto. In the early days of Hoover, he went around the black community and was called a black man. And that's how the apprehensions of Hoover never escalated, because they kept saying he's a Negroid. Last days of Martin King. Go back to Abernathy's book. Everybody says don't get it because Abernathy talked about Martin having sex. If you can't deal with the reality of someone's promiscuity, then you can never understand how the forces used it to make on or to escalate its demise. If you make a commitment to a woman and you don't keep that commitment and the woman don't catch you, it's all right, because you lose in the ultimate scheme of commitments when you need that extra in the blind thing and something works against you. Now that's a whole nother law now. Do we want to live under that law? If we do, we've got to operate, because we can win, but we got to operate under that other law that don't nobody have to look for it to be in effect. And if we do that, we work it off, we got it. Yeah, but don't nobody want to go there, so they don't want to. Now, let's go there. This is now in the last days. Jesse Jackson and James Bevel are the major adversaries against Martin having to march on Washington. They're the major adversaries against Martin going back to against the war in Vietnam. And here's Abernathy talking about in the last 6 staff meetings of Martin King's life, he walked out of 5 of them because Jesse Jackson and James Bevel got up on chairs in the meeting and started talking down to the other staff members and demanded that they cut Martin Luther King loose. And Martin walked out of 5 of the last 6 meetings before he died. And in Dick Gregory's book and Mark Lane's book, you notice, if you watch the index, it goes March 28th, March 29th. It skips March 30th, which is Martin's last staff meeting. This is the big meeting where finally he comes back on Jesse Jackson. And everybody says that's the maddest I ever seen Martin at any staff member ever. Martin doesn't make up with Jesse till he leans over the balcony to tell him he can come to dinner that night. And that's another story. Now, quickly, because I want to end this. This is our last days of Martin King. It's back there. The full version takes 4 hours, so I got to do it in 4 more minutes. How do we bail out? They're saying we can't go into Washington, we'll fail. How do we bail out? What do you mean bail out, Martin said? What do you mean? If we don't succeed and we don't get any kind of result, then how do we bail out the situation? Martin's eyes flashed. I don't care about bailing out. I just want to see I just want these people to be seen by the American public, and my poor people. They're invisible now. If the public can just see them, then something will be done. We don't like it. If we don't make any progress, we'll lose faith. Martin listened with barely constrained anger. He had seen visions of March, Mississippi that would haunt him for the rest of his short life, and these two were talking about bailing out and saving face. And he argued with them at great length, trying to make them see the logic of his plan, trying to convince them that they had to take chances if they were going to accomplish great things, but they were unrelenting in their opposition. They don't talk about that today while they out act like they want to hear what James or Ray got to say. They just want to make sure if Ray mumbles some shit for his side, he don't say, Jackson, Bevel. He don't start mumbling some stuff. In fact, many of the major leaders of today did not arise until their real daddies died. All of them rose off of someone else's death. That's a whole nother subject. And another thing I'm going to tell you what's wrong in the black community. The state of the black community is that traditional black leadership was elder-based. We now run on our organizational leadership and institutional leadership. Young people of temperate stages who are still going through growth in life, who lead large volumes of people, when it should be elder-based, who then instruct leadership, who then guide the masses. We've taken the elder, we've become American. We've taken elder out of the leadership base. But we're going back. Because leadership tends to be too tepid, too insecure. I got a big problem. I'm FBI agent, I'm everything. They keep calling me everything under the sun. I don't have to even give a day's damn. Because we just got to keep going. We know where we're going. I don't know where they're going. I don't even ask them. I look and watch what they do. I'll be laughing sometimes that someone even follow that. But some people ain't fit to stand where we standing. Martin listened with very constrained anger. He had seen visions of Lawrence, Mississippi that would haunt him for the rest of his short life. These two were talking out about bailing out saving face. He argued with them at great length, trying to make them see the logic of his plan, trying to convince them we had to take chances if we were going to accomplish great things. But they were unrelenting in their opposition. Two young pragmatists were lecturing the older, more experienced idealists. Finally, Martin broke off the debate and left the meeting. He left the meeting 5 out of 6 times before he died. As he noticed, they kept edging into his chest. They was all up in his chest too tight. He noticed they was too tight on him. And interesting, today, Mr. Farrakhan was on CNN at 4:30, and I saw him do the same thing to him they did to Harold Washington before they killed him. They turned to Louis Farrakhan and said, well, Ben Shaver's just joined your organization. Is he not your heir apparent? And Farrakhan, because I talked to him personally about this, and before I gave the public lecture on what happened to Harold Washington, I gave it to the minister personally. And he came out and supported me at the mosque that Sunday to tell them to come hear the lecture. And then they kept telling Harold Washington before he died, it was Harold, if anything would happen to you tomorrow, who would? And they just kept wanting him to name the right damn name. And if he named that name, they would have capped his ass the next morning. And Harold, he listened to that question, he went, ooh. He hit the table and said, I'm running from the grave. He didn't name the name they wanted. Now the key thing is this. The same man that told him that he should replace Harold Washington was the same man that told Jesse Jackson he should replace Martin King. A white man in Chicago named Don Rose. I'm going to show you him real quickly as I end this session. Same man. From 68 all the way up to 87 is when Martin died. Here, throw this up. I'm sorry, Harold died in 87. Here we go here. This is Martin gets to Memphis. Martin finds out that Andy didn't. Andy's pointing like Jesse's pointing at that phony spot. Martin gets to Memphis, says Andy didn't explain why Andy didn't go to a meeting he was supposed to. Said Andy didn't go to the hearing. Martin was furious. Some things couldn't be helped, but this omission was inexcusable. Andy had been made executive president of SCLC just so he could speak for the organization on such occasions. He was second in command. He had failed to come through again. Martin was highly vocal in his expression of dissatisfaction. That's 2 days before Martin dies. Now all you're going to see in the last days of Martin King is all you're going to see him pissed at everybody. I'm pissed at you. I'm pissed at you. I'm pissed at you. I'm pissed at you. Ralph, the night before he dies, the speech that he says, I've been to the mountaintop, he didn't go to. He says, Ralph, I want you to go get that speech for me tonight at the Masonic Temple. And Ralph says, Martin, you know that people are going to be asking for you. He says, come on. He said, no, I want you to speak. He said, well, let me take Jesse with me. Let Jesse speak. He said, Ralph, I'm telling you now, only you can speak for me, Ralph. Only you will speak at that meeting tonight at the temple, Ralph. You can take Jesse, but Jesse's not to speak for me. And I'm going to show you him saying that. Yeah, it's time to get free. That's what time it is. Don't run out of time on these other things. Okay, I just go to the whole card then. And on the mysterious steps in New World Order, anybody got this picture? That night when they get to the hall, when they get to the hall, Abernathy sees all these people. He says, man, he gets on the stage, people are hollering, they're waiting for Martin. He says, look, he turns to Jesse, he said, look, I better call Martin. Jesse says, don't call him. What are you going to call Martin for? If you don't want to give a speech, I'll give it. Abernathy said, I lifted my head back and I ran to the telephone and called Martin. Martin comes to the temple. He gives the speech, everybody, I've been to the mountaintop. But I want you, if you got that film at home, you got the eye on the prize, watch Martin turn around after he gives that speech and walks back to the people standing there and watch Jesse go. And he sees the people cheering and he touches Martin again. And he looks real like Judas. And you'll see it all over his face. The picture won't lie. It's in the tape, in the Mysterious Steps video, it's in there, the third tape. Now, Martin gives the speech. Somebody changes Martin's room from 204. Some white man comes in and says, I'm with Martin King, changes him to 306. Martin King was shot with a 30-06 rifle. He was put in room 306. He was called to the balcony at 3 minutes to 6. He was dead at 6:01. Probably just a coincidence that there was 3 odd 6s in that little line up there. And Jesse mentioned how odd it was that the front page of the paper mentioned Martin King staying in room 306 the day he was killed. And then, of course, when they went to call the police, the operator wasn't there because she had a heart attack right when Martin King got killed. She had a heart attack right at the switchboard. They couldn't even call nobody. And then you got that whole thing about the blood and all of that. I'll just leave all of that in there, but I want to tell you this. That right after Martin King died, 104 articles came out in the next year claiming that Jesse Jackson was the heir apparent to Martin King. He said 3 things. 1, he had the blood of Martin King on his shirt. 2, he was the last person to talk to Martin King. 3, he was the only heir to King's throne. And the man who told him that was Don Rose. Don Rose, a white Jewish man in Chicago, was the man that told Jesse Jackson after he left Atlanta, he left Memphis strangely. I did this TV show in Chicago, The Last Days of Martin King on cable. Jesse Jackson saw the video. He called Al Sharpton at home. Got mad at Sharpton for igniting me into doing the investigation. Sharpton and I give a lecture in New York together at the Borough Manhattan City College. When I get there, Sharpton's people rush me up to the private room. Sharpton says, man, I got to talk to you. He says, you don't know how influential this Martin King thing is? Jesse called me. He's pissed at me. He ain't mad at you. He pissed at me for getting you excited. He said, but I called all my friends, and they all gave me words of support for you, Steve. And Reverend Wyatt T. Walker, Jesse's man in New York, said, if Jesse ever mess with you, tell him this. Said, Jesse, how did you get out of Memphis the night Martin King was killed? And that the highway was closed, the buses were closed, the train was closed, and the airport was closed. How did you get out of Memphis? Throw that to the side. 104 stories come out after Martin dies. Jesse goes to Chicago, ends up at the city council, ends up on Today's Show. On the way to the Today Show, Don Rose tells him he should be the heir apparent. The interesting thing is that when Harold Washington died, Don Rose told Tim Evans, the man who fought to be Harold Washington's heir apparent, the man who was touted as Harold Washington's replacement 2 months before he died, Tim Evans, was told by Don Rose and Jesse Jackson that he was the heir apparent to Harold Washington. Don Rose did Martin King. Don Rose did Harold Washington. Don Rose is still alive today. Many people got hung up in Don Roseism and followed behind-the-scenes anointed leadership and never recovered. Jesse, of course, malfeasant, great money, messes up $550,000 of government money. It was over $3 million. They made a settlement. They allowed, the amount was later lowered in negotiations to $1 million, then to $550,000. Jesse Jackson was allowed to pay back $125,000 a year. And that's when he jumped to the Rainbow Coalition. As soon as Operation Push repaid his debt, now he's back in Chicago at Operation Push. But any black man malfeasance a government grant, he go to jail. He don't get no sign-out agreement. My point is not to spend all this time on Jesse Jackson, but it's to state that even right now, what's up in the state of the race is that we're bound to make the same mistakes because we've never punished the people who perpetrated the last garbage we got stuck in. And because they've gone acted against, it's likely they would try it again. Now, what I'm going to do now, I got to pass the hat to Brother Coakley. Before we walk out of here, I want to preview for you this CIA thing. Now, I suggest to you that Coakley's CIA style is like nothing you ever seen on the issue. They had an investigation into MENA, and they've already ruled that nothing went on there. The whole foundation to proving they sold drugs goes down in MENA. Hey, anybody ever seen that book by Tyrone Powers, The Eyes of My Soul, of an FBI agent? Where in that book, he don't mention nothing about Ricky Ross and all them other things he know about. Anyway, let me say this. The only way I make it is if you help me make it. Only way my family make it is if you help us make it. I appreciate Brother Rodney, the Black United Front of Houston, Brother Harry, and all those people who helped them who are here tonight to help the brother have a chance to share his information. I'm going on limited versions of it because I don't have time to do the depth of it, which is why those tapes back there are there, because there's deeper information in there. I've been in places with Brother Collins, people write $100 checks, $1,000 checks. I don't have the gall to ask you on that level, but I am that deserving. I'm not ashamed to ask to support myself, so I hope you all do the best you can. I really appreciate that you do. Please come tomorrow at 4, because we're going to go straight into the CIA issue. And I guarantee you, it will be very important for you to know the cornerstones of the issue the way I see it, so you can be an effective actioneer within that issue. And I like to pass the hat because I do better when I pass it. Because people tend to want to put more money in it when I'm there standing there holding it. So don't make me feel like I need to be there. And if you got $200 in your pocket and you throw 2 in there, I mean, that's all right. But if you could help, I'm the one you want to help, believe me. Even though you may never see me again in your life, I ain't going nowhere much. You might not want to come around on the Coakley program no more. CIA. Also, again, I got all that new stuff on the Boule. I got all these secret documents on the Boule and military intelligence. It's in a 2 videotape set back there called Boule Secret Relationships. It's the 2 lectures for $50. Hold on just 1 second, Tommy. It's also the Last Days of Martin King 4-hour lecture. It's back there in video, real clear, all on overhead. It's $40 from Florida A&M last week. Also, the piece at the 666-96 is the audio that's similar to the Golden Minty stuff. Base Theory on Evil is the video, and the old takers are the videos that match it. Last Days of Martin King is back there in audio and video. Coakley and Karinga on LA Radio is back there. I appreciate all of the support you can give. On the CIA drug issue, it is very important to prove that they sell drugs You got to tell how they sell drugs in the past. Tomorrow we're going to look at Sam G and Copy. Anybody missed the bucket? Anybody want to put another $100 in there? Didn't put it in there this time. Yes, Brother Thomas, you want to ask us something? Yeah. This brother came all the way from... No. Oh, that's right. What Thomas? That's right. You look like Brother Thomas. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Hey, what's up? You got the same shirt on there. Carl Rowan gave King a lot of flack. Carl Rowan gave King a lot of flack. Right. Well, let's go back to that tape that got released by Lyndon Johnson when he called the white senator. He said, look, I got a nigga I'm going to appoint, and I don't want no trouble. Now, when his name go down to the Senate, I don't want you to cut his groin out or something. Now, he's talking to he said, well, you know I can't vote for it. Then he said, I didn't say you have to, but just don't treat him. He's a good nigga. He's done everything I asked. He traveled with me to Europe and everywhere. So, all of that, and of course, he was Malcolm's nemesis. And Malcolm in the New World Order. I mean, it's an unprecedented thing about what would the impact be if Malcolm was still alive. That's a whole nother thing in itself. Oh, that's right here. Anyway, we won't be up on that. But Sam G kind of sold drugs with the CIA. We're going to hear him talk about that tomorrow. Ex-CIA officer John Stockwell, he talked about in his book about the Golden Triangle. CIA sold drugs, the Golden Crescent. CIA sold drugs, the French Connection. Remember the movie? CIA selling drugs with the French intelligence. Ex-CIA officer, former head of station chief in Africa. We're going to look at him tomorrow. This is the check. Strangely, FEMA gave Maxine Waters for a congressional district a $3,500,000 grant right before this issue got started. They had African American Unity Day around a 6-foot-long FEMA check. I don't know what that's about, but if they fail, I'm going to be in their ass about this check. Who's been in the CIA? We're going to look at the directors, the deputy directors. You need to know those names. Mena, Arkansas. You need to know about the airplane traffic that was in Mena, the secret airport. The black man who ran economic development that sold drugs for Clinton is now the personnel chief of the White House, Bob Nash. Black man. Well, look at Tyrone Power's book, The Rise and Decline of FBI Agent. He didn't know nothing about Ricky Ross till I pressed his ass. All of a sudden, he stopped blabbering.
Is one of them is about Black Jesus, where the Son being appearing in Africa?
Yep, Black Jesus story was probably one of the most shocking things I ever heard. It came from my insider, Jacob, I call him that in the book. There's some very serious extraterrestrial threats to Earth, and that...
Born in 1918 in Angola, Simeon Toko, the man Jehovah. From the cosmos, straight to the Congo, like the one with 3 holes and walked with 12 apostles. Hole in his rib, never felt the gospel. The refugees were Portuguese. In 1970 came Walter Reed's Destiny, Heavenly. Our pedigrees, longevity, celebrity. Jeridians and Nomos, Simeon Toko, Mycetinian, reptilian logo. Who thought of a Christ would eat chicken with his jaw off rice? That's Nigerian, but he was Angolian. A holy man, say peace to priest Simeon, the golden land.
So the story goes that in the 1960s there was a black man in Africa.
Ezekiel saw it, chapter 1 down. Isaiah seen it, chapter 6. John seen it, Revelations 4. I seen it, 1999. Far away, up in the sky, bright, what a sight. I thought it was Venus. The stars lit above the goddess. The Egyptian winged disc. Rulers, don't forget Sumer, kingless. Priests, enthronement. Greeks and Romans. Apocalypse, Romulus and Remus. Gods, devils, angels, demons. Large vessels, bring those legions. By the boatload, Abyssinians. Who was? Simeon Toko.
And he was performing miracles. He was starting to get people to listen to what he had to say. And the Cabal tried to kill him, and they could shoot him in the head, and his skull would just regenerate, his flesh would grow back, and he was fine. And so the crazy story that I heard, and remember, I was told at the time that if I disclosed this, that I would be killed, and I ended up putting it in the book anyway. The story was that this guy, they finally said, okay, we're going to bring you to the United Nations and share your message with the world. Let's get you on this flight. They bring him on this flight, and instead of bringing him to the United Nations, they shot him repeatedly, and then actually had some kind of meat grinder device, and basically like a bandsaw, I guess, sawed up his body into a whole bunch of pieces, put him in these very like radioactive shielded containers, and then had all these fighter jets dock with the plane and fly his body parts to all corners of the world, where then these containers turned them into ash. And they thought that maybe this would defeat him, like that his body somehow, the tissue was necessary. So if they destroyed all the tissue in all these places across the world, maybe they could defeat him. Well, he then regenerated in their offices and was fully fine, fully intact. But the sad part is that he said, you guys so badly do not want me to be here that I am not going to be able to do any more. You're going to get what you want, but bear in mind that in the future, many others like me will be coming, and when they do, you will not be able to stop us.
Wow. Well,
that is all I know. Unfortunately, there's nothing more to the story than that.
Incredible.
It is an incredible story.
Incredible.
It is genuinely recounted by witnesses that Simeon Toko appeared before people in an apparitional body.
Knowledge bomb. What's the science, baby?
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get
And
back
that
to
motive
the
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.